We're here today to talk about the importance of Paramount Business and why the industry needs it so much. And to lead the discussion, we have Andrew Dale, David Drew, and Lenore Gibson. Thank you for being here. So the first question I want to ask is, why does Unite offer Paramount Business training to salon owners?
It's a great question, and I think that, when I had to look at our industry and what was going on in our industry, I thought back to when I opened my first salon and, didn't have a clue, about the finances and the business and how I was going to put it all together. So when we created Unite, I thought, we're doing all of this education, we're cutting and styling and finishing for the hairdresser, but what about the business part? So we put Paramount Business together, which is pretty much an A to Z on how to run your business. And with the help of David and Lenore, we've been able to add to it and create another Team Paramount, which we'll talk about later.
Absolutely right, Dale. And I think it's really important. Being a salon owner, a business owner, is a lonely place. And the thing about the Paramount Business program particularly is giving them the tools to succeed.
So many salon owners spend a lot of time working in the business, and what we want to work with them on is how to work on the business for long-term success, really.
Unite recommends that you identify the business as a brand. Why is this so important?
I think that as hairdressers, we love unique, boutique type feeling things. When we think of a large corporation, we don't think of a brand, but when we think of something like, you're not going to have somebody walking around with a corporation patch on their arm, but they'll have Harley Davidson, which is like a brand. So when I think our minds that are creative minds think about business, it doesn't get exciting. But if we think about a brand, it becomes more exciting.
Absolutely, and I think in the world we live in today, we're being sold to 24/7, and everything is brand today. We've got to think about is creating a culture. Brand is about developing a culture within your business.
People trust brands, so brands really resonate and really help us to create a stronger client relationship at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Why create a company mission statement?
I think it's the DNA. It's your core beliefs. It's everything that as a salon owner you dreamed of being. And your people need to understand what that is as well.
Everybody in the team has to be on board with that mission statement. They have to believe in that same mission statement all the way through.
And it's the single core idea that everyone can get behind. It needs to be simplistic. If it gets too long-winded, it can get diluted. So it needs to be something that it has an emotional connection.
Absolutely. People can't do who they aren't. So it's got to be believable.
Sure, which leads me directly into my next question. What are some key things to consider when creating a mission statement?
Really what David said, what you stand for. And it really sort of becomes part of you. What you stand for. I know at Unite here, it's really about how can we make the hairdresser's life easier. And that's been, my passion. So, the mission statement's got to encompass that as well.
Yeah, I think, let's look at it outside in. We're all consumers somewhere. So why is it that we as consumers are drawn to certain brands and we go to certain places? And we have to look at it from a consumer point of view, because are we customer driven? That's my question to all of you.
Sure.
We should be.
Yeah, of course. What things do we need to look for to make sure the salon fits your brand's identity?
Well, I think it's everything. So that goes down to your decor, to how the staff are dressed. Actually, do you know something? I believe that the hair that the team are wearing, everyone's hair has to look good. I'm amazed how many salons I walk into and I look at the hair and it looks like they've just got out of bed.
Could be a look.
Could be a look, not necessarily my look.
Surely.
I think the theme has to be the same. I think that, I obviously, have nothing against somebody wearing a t-shirt and jeans, showing tattoos, and if that is the look and the brand of the salon, if that's it, that works perfectly. If everybody, wants to sort of dress up, and, I've been into many salons in Europe and all the guys are wearing suits and a tie. And I think it looks really good, but it's because they all look like that, as opposed to having a hodgepodge of different looks.
Yeah.
That whole continuity, with it. And we're a fashion industry, right, Lenore? So that might be part of the brand that you're looking at.
everything is marketing, from what they're seeing online to what they're seeing the outside of the store, the inside of the store, the experience that they have. All of that's branding, all of that's marketing.
It's really a constant campaign. From website, Facebook, whatever you're doing on Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, if you're working with that, the continuity of a campaign has to be there.
Sure, the consistency that the message is the same.
Absolutely.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
How important is it to build the right team within your brand?
Extremely important, because your team becomes your brand. Yeah, and I think it starts in the interview process. If you know what your brand looks like, your DNA, when you're actually interviewing somebody, the interview process is all about, will this person fit my brand?
Absolutely. And a good leader in a salon, they know the difference between leading and managing. A good leader always looks at their staff as an internal client and treats them that way.
So who's the smarter person? The person that can work on his own, or the person that can do the work of 10 people, or the person that can get 10 people to do the work for them? That's the first thing. Secondly, we all need to follow. Leaders have followers. And if you're a part of a team, you need to be led. So the salon owner manager needs to lead their team.
We're hoping that you as a salon owner can one day step away from behind the chair, because there's going to be some point in your life where you're going to have to, yeah? And if you've got this team that you've built, just like David's saying, you're still going to be the leader, you've got the team, then you've really got a brand that's going to be profitable.
Well, attracting the right staff is integral to the success of your salon. What characteristics do you look for in an employee?
Training somebody with the right attitude is a lot easier than training somebody with the wrong attitude or a bad attitude. We know how we can train somebody, and with all of our skills technically, with cutting, dressing, styling, finishing, it's there. But if the attitude's not there, and I know Lenore, I mean, her expertise is teaching, and what would you add to that, Lenore?
Yeah, when you find somebody with the right attitude, generally you'll find that they have this hunger to learn and want to increase their skill set. And those are the people that that are going to be open, and you can make rock stars out of them.
And you can have a great skillful person, but they're a lousy attitude, as Dale just said. They're a lousy person. They become the cancer. Secondly, we tend to only recruit when we feel we need someone, i.e. when we've lost a team member. Now we're desperate. Now we're under pressure to fill that position. So actually, there's a good time to recruit when you don't actually need someone. All the time.
Yeah, if somebody comes in for an interview, don't turn them away, interview them, and keep that resume on file for that one day that somebody might leave you.
I can train skill, but I can't change attitude.
Yeah.
And in England, we have a saying, it's better to have a hole in the ass than have an asshole in your business.
Fair enough, David. Thank you for that one. Thank you.
That's a good export from England to America, guys.
There's certain questions that you should ask for your brand. If the brand is a fashion-orientated brand, one of the questions would be, who are your favorite designers?
Yes.
Yeah. What music do you listen to? Here at Unite, I mean, we're obviously very animal-friendly. We love the dog rescue thing. And we might throw a question like that in there. Do you have any pets? And, get some answers like that, which is interesting, because we have dogs walking around the office all day long. And if somebody's very scared of dogs or doesn't like dogs, this might not be the place for them to be.
Good point.
Part of the brand.
Unite suggests 3 separate interviews. Why? And what takes place at each interview?
Well, the first interview is discovery, who they are, where they've been, what they're doing, why they left their last job, why do they want to work for you?
Sure.
What are their future goals? It's important to know their goals so that you know that what you can provide, are they going to fit in to your brand? Are they going to fit in with the team?
Okay, so that would maybe be part of the first interview. That second interview, what are you looking for there?
Well, to get through the first interview to the second, we're extremely visual.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that the interview that I'm going to be giving, or the interview that we're taking, the person looks a certain way.
Sure.
And again, we talked about attitude.
Absolutely.
That would take them to the second. And I think if somebody's willing to come back for the second interview, they want to work for you.
I agree. And the second interview, of course, is the first interview is about the person. The second interview is ascertaining their skill level. Of course it is. This is the trade test interview, isn't it? It's what skills have you got? What do you excel at? And where perhaps do we need to look at implementing a training program to give you the rounded skills that we're looking for?
And I think that with the trade test, it's really what your brand does most. If your brand is colour and highlights, and maybe you want them to do trade test on colour. If your brand is about, you know, beautiful haircuts and finishing, that even goes down to a receptionist as well. I believe that when you're interviewing a receptionist, the first interview is in person. I think the second interview is on the phone. Because when you think of a receptionist and what a receptionist is going to be doing, most of the time they're on the phone.
We like to say smiling down the phone in Paramount.
Because you know when somebody's smiling on the phone, absolutely.
Sure,
Yeah.
you can feel it. You
Yeah.
can feel it. The third, what's the third part of the interview?
Well, for me, it's the contractual part.
Got it.
For me, it's
Okay.
making sure that we're all on the same page with
Yeah.
the expectation, our expectation of them and their expectation of us.
Yeah, because you know, out of the 12 questions that we ask all of our employees, one of them is, do I know what's expected of me every day when I come to work? And the policy and procedure manual is something that as a brand we've all got to have. And I think that the third interview is when that's read through. If there's any questions about that, like David's saying, any questions about what we do here with policies and procedures, you might get to that point where, you know what, they're stuck on it and there's a few things on that policy and procedure that they might not abide by.
Yeah.
And that's okay if you don't hire them.
Absolutely.
Because at least you know, black and white, is it going to work?
And third interviews, people are usually more comfortable than they are in the first and second interview, so they're a little bit more relaxed. You get to see their personality, and they're opening up more so that you can get a truer insight on really who they are.
The success of the salon is its ability to make a profit.
Yeah.
And what key areas do we need to look at for that salon to be able to make a profit? And what areas get overlooked?
I think, you know, looking at this, the Paramount Business is about knowing what your overheads are first.
Yeah.
What are your cost of goods? What's your fixed overheads? To then really be able to understand what is the profit I can make. So we figure all of that out in Paramount Business first before you even go on from there. You know, we've had a whole paradigm shift at Unite. And our paradigm shift is we've taken the word retailing out of our culture. And we now call it caring. Because if you're not caring for your client, you will not have a client. If you're not caring for your client, your brand will not be profitable.
So I actually put it this way. Do you want your clients to have a service encounter, i.e. just what's on the price list? Or do you want them to have a service experience? And do you want them to be cared for, which is what Dale's talking about? And the moment you use that word retailing, the team go glazed-eyed.
Sure.
Because hairdressers, as we know them, don't like the idea of retailing. And we need that paradigm shift.
And I mean, I think that's why we thought about, well, what is it we're doing when a client goes home with amazing products?
When you educate a client, it shows that you care enough to educate them. And a couple of the things that are sometimes overlooked, the two most simplistic things is making sure to educate them on retail, but also pre-booking. Pre-booking is huge, and so we really talk a lot in Paramount Business about how you can capitalize on your books, your schedules, your hours, how all those things play a role in the bigger picture in terms of your profitability.
We try and train the receptionist that there's only two things they really need to say when a stylist brings their client up to the front. And it would be the first thing, which Lenore just touched on, would be, when would you like to see Jane again? Should I book her in 6 weeks from now? You've got the pre-booking taken care of. And what care package would you like Jane to take home with her that you've used in the salon today? Two things.
Absolutely
That's
right.
it. The amount of money that's lost through not pre-booking is thousands of dollars. And the amount of money that's lost by not creating A care package with caring, again, is thousands of dollars. Salons are probably losing, depending on their size, anywhere from 50 to 150,000 by not doing these two things.
We spend a lot of time in Paramount Business talking about creating optimum profitability. So those salons that are thinking about having a second salon, we first get their focus on the current salon that they have and teach them how to optimize that from a profitability standpoint.
Listen guys, we're paying rent 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Why do we have to open at 9 and close at 6? Why do we have to close on a Sunday and a Monday? You've probably got your second salon in the first one by chair shifting and opening slightly more hours. And again, just like Lenore says, in Paramount Business, we show you how to do that.
Each employee's participation in the growth towards a common goal is extremely important. What are those steps that we should be taking towards successful goal setting?
In order for the salon to be successful, you really have to take the interest in your individual stylist being successful. It is a constant coaching and mentoring. And personal goals are really what drive our staff. They're not interested in the salon goals, but they're interested in their personal goals. And you get a lot of success out of it as a leader and a manager, don't you?
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
you're coaching the individuals, that's where the fun comes in.
Working with somebody one-on-one is so much more powerful than in a group meeting.
Sure.
Lenore hit the nail on the head when she said, make it personal for them as well. And I think a personal goal that you've sort of worked into the goal of the brand is very powerful.
It's incredibly powerful, Dale, and I actually think we can put it this way. Goal setting is journey planning. And your work goals should take you closer to achieving your personal goals. And once you marry those two together and you create that vision, that's very powerful.
The whole sort of way that I look at goal setting is we've set a goal for what we want to do for the year. Then with that goal, we break that down quarterly, what we have to do per quarter to reach that goal.
Yeah.
Then we break it down monthly, weekly, and daily. Very simple. And we break it down in Paramount Business and make it easy to understand that.
Sure.
Yeah, because really goal setting helps retain your staff as well. So if you can goal set and actually show them a career path in their time with you, it definitely helps in the retention of staff.
And what Lenore just said is so powerful because when we're interviewing, we hear it so many times. Why did you leave the last place you were working?
Yeah.
And it's lack of appreciation.
I didn't feel appreciated.
Didn't feel appreciated.
Absolutely.
And because they weren't being set goals. There it is.
You know, we know that most hairdressers want to own their own business one day. We know we're going to lose them 3-5 years down the road. You know, we're thinking of opening a second salon. This person wants to be their own boss. Why don't we partner with them on the second salon?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Always better to grow from within.
Surely.
Before long, you could have a chain of 10 salons.
Yeah, because now you've now actually got people who they can relate to. They can see them in the
Sure.
business.
Yeah.
Grown from within.
And this is when you think about it, all the big names that we all know in our industry, that's how they've done it.
Sure. Creative marketing ideas can be cost effective and financially rewarding. What marketing initiatives do you recommend a salon make a priority?
A calendar. I think so many times that we've walked into salons and we've sat down with salon owners and we've said, right, what's your plan for marketing for the year? And they don't have one. Valentine's Day, Easter, Mother's Day, these dates don't usually change or come off the calendar. You know, Christmas and Thanksgiving, they're on the calendar for a reason because they're there all the time. So you can plan all of your marketing a year in advance. Yeah. It's very easy to do that when you've got a calendar.
And we need to find out from our clients what's going on in their life. There's a wedding going on, there's an anniversary going on, there's a holiday going on, there's celebrating a religious festival going on. We need to plan their hair for those eventualities.
Another basic marketing tool that you can use is having a press release. a lot of times we don't think about it until the attention or the spotlight is on the salon, and then we're trying to get together
Scrambling.
what our story might be.
Yeah.
It's really important. Part of the brand is developing a story, what you're about, what your hours are, what your services are, what you stand for, what you're involved in, being attached to whatever causes or charity that you're involved in the community goes a long way when it comes to marketing.
The brands that tell the best stories will be the most successful in the future.
Yeah.
And that's a huge part of marketing. So when we think about it, if we get a calendar and we start looking at all the events that are happening throughout the year, we come up with this amazing mission statement that we have to have that becomes our brand message and a story. All of these things are marketing.
One of the things I love about being involved with Unite, and I'm very proud to be, is Unite gets involved and partners with its salons because it's within Unite's interest to help these salons succeed. We want to help them come up with a plan to succeed. That's what marketing is. I say to salon owners and their teams, do you like the brands you're working with? Because if you don't like the brands you're working with and you don't think you're partnering with them, why are you doing business with them?
It has to be brand alignment.
Absolutely.
And we talk about brand alignment a lot. You know, that word marketing is increasing your revenue.
That's the
And
Latin
that's the
word.
plan.
That's the Latin definition of marketing. It's to make money.
Well, I knew that, David.
Oh,
I
is
was
that
just,
right?
you know, wondering if you did or not. So-
Well, because I live in Europe, I mean, you're a bit closer to the Latin bias than perhaps you are over here in the States, Dale. But it is, for those that want to know, if you look up the definition of marketing, it is to make money.
So it's, you know, when you think of a marketing idea, think of more profit.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Unite places a strong emphasis on policies and procedure manual. What types of topics does this manual include?
Policy and procedure manual, it sounds a little heavy, yeah? But what it really does, it upholds what the brand stands for. I think if we don't have a policy and procedure manual, things get personal. Whereas if, you know, coming to work on time, dressing a certain way, doing education on a regular basis, if those things aren't in black and white in a policy and procedure manual, they don't exist.
And it's also identifying the measures that are being used to lead and to motivate that employee, that member of the team. So what gets measured gets done. When people know they're being measured, you know, the time they turn up for work or how many times they've had off work, it gets done. People improve.
If somebody doesn't want to follow policies and procedures, the brand never lets go of anyone. They let go of themselves by not wanting to participate and uphold the policies and procedures of the brand.
Yeah, that's a huge point right there. You never really should have to fire somebody.
Yeah.
They're telling you they don't want to be a part of your brand, which is fine. That's okay. We don't mind that.
Yeah. Unite provides an employee manual for every area of the business. Why is this so important?
Because I don't think as a salon owner, we do it.
Yeah.
So Unite has stepped up to the plate in Paramount Business and said, anybody that comes on the Paramount Business course, we give them a receptionist manual, a manager's manual, an art director's manual, and an assistant's manual. So being able to have a manual for each individual team member and what they need to do creates a stronger team.
And I think it's really important that we recognize that everybody, no matter what level they're at in the team, is as important as the other. Because as a stylist, we all know how damn hard our day is when our trainee or assistant isn't there and they're off sick. It makes our day really tough. So we shouldn't be taking, just because they're a little trainee and they're coming into the industry, we shouldn't be making them feel less important than your art director. They're all doing their part. That is so important that everyone understands that, and we're all equal.
It's powerful, yeah. So Unite with Paramount Business has evolved so much that we've created Team Paramount together. And it's going to be for the salon owner that keeps putting the message across about their brand. I think that an example that I could give that shows me team, being out for dinner in a restaurant, and you know when all of the waiters and waitresses are working as a team. Yeah. Because you might see another waiter serving another table, but when your plate's empty, that waiter, even though he's not servicing you, comes over and picks your plate up and takes it away and offers you, are you okay for drinks? Do you need anything else? You know, it's not taking away from that other waiter's table, as it were, it's team. And I always find that when I go into a restaurant where I see that happening, it's a great atmosphere. Absolutely. And it's the same thing within our brand, within our salon. When somebody else comes and sweeps up after you, or they take some towels off your station, it's that team spirit.
We get that message. We reinforce those things that salon brand owner, brand manager hasn't been able to get through on. And we actually make the team go back into their individual salons and they start going, now I understand.
And it's not because the salon owner isn't putting the right message across. It's because just like if you have children, they don't listen to you all the time.
Sure, it's that voice, they've heard it again.
And it's, you know, somebody else coming in and reiterating the message with a slightly different twist on it, maybe. They're like, oh, I get that.
Yeah, they hear it different, don't they? They hear it differently. Yeah. But we're 3 experienced, very committed hairdressers to this industry, so it's going to be a lot of fun just to share, you know, the knowledge and what we have, and again, the passion. We're still very passionate about what we do,
Absolutely.
Still teaching and working with the industry. So I think that in Team Paramount, they're going to feel that and hear things in a different way, and you hope that they pick up a few nuggets and take them back to the salon and help change their perspective. It's the same universally with stylists. Stylists have the same challenges, you know, how do they, you know, up their caring? How do they up their customer service? How do they become more successful? How can I make more money behind the chair? Work smarter, not harder. These are all the elements that we go over.
Team Paramount is us coming in and reinforcing that message. So, you know, Paramount Business is now moving forward even more.
Okay, leads us to the next question. Understanding, and I think one of the questions, I think more than anything, is one of the main areas of maybe difficulty for a new salon owner, especially when they're coming from a creative field, is understanding P&L statements. Mm-hmm. What are the most typical items salon owners, well, just understanding a P&L overall, and then some of the items that they overlook within the P&L that could be of key importance for them?
Well, in Paramount Business, we actually break down what a P&L should look like. Yeah. And we simplify it because some accountants can make it very tricky to understand. So we've broken down a complete P&L that you can take to your accountant and show your accountant this is how you would like the ledger put together. And really, when you look at P&L, it's what's coming in is the P, and what's going out is the L. And we just need to simplify that the best way we can. All of that is in Paramount Business and broken down very simply to understand it. David works with hundreds of salons on trying to help them get a little bit more financially stable. And you work obviously with the P&L statement, David, a lot on that.
Yeah, it's a very important piece of paper, and the profit and loss, the P&L, it's the purpose of being in business, and profit is not a dirty word. No profit, no longevity, no success. It's as simple as that. So it's a snapshot of how well you're doing or how well you've done, and we need to take that fear away. And I'm very, very surprised how few brand owners, salon brand managers actually know that information. So the good news is Paramount Business deals with that for you.
What are we saying to the group? What are we saying to everyone that's listening to us out here now? I mean, we're obviously recommending that you come to Paramount Business. Dale, how would you like to close the program?
I think that when I created Paramount Business for our clients, it was for growth. And really, Paramount Business is to help you relax, understand your business, and we'll hold your hand and take you through how you can become profitable. And I would suggest that every client that uses Unite, that either wants to open a salon or has opened a salon, come to Paramount Business, and really start understanding your brand and becoming profitable.